Set up for a Rommel game here. We have the rules, of course, and German artillery over here. This is a withdrawal scenario where the Germans are trying to execute a fighting withdrawals, and they're trying to protect these objective markers. I have little dice on and tell me when to remove them. And up here we're getting to the front lines. It's German in blockage. Some Germans around the first objective markers. The huts are there. And here are the American forces, some armored infantry, and basically a combat team from an armored division, along with a couple of regimental combat teams from infantry divisions, 2 infantry divisions. Got my turns set up with more markers to tell me when to remove the objectives. If the Americans don't capture 3 before the game is over, they lose. Some of the op sheets that you can get for free from the Rommel website or from the Facebook page. German ops sheet with their op chips. And the other side of the table, I ended up rolling a random terrain for this scenario where I basically did a D8 and a D12 to determine placement for terrain, and then a random roll to determine what type of terrain ended up in those squares. I rolled the normal number of dice to determine the number of terrain features to start the process, and then to start determining where the terrain was. If the terrain ended up in an objective hex, then I had to reposition it, or if I rolled the same position, I would re-roll to make sure all of the pieces got placed. And some of the randomness allowed for the selection of a plain, like no terrain in that square. We have some ideas about how to change that up to reflect whether the terrain is mountainous, wooded, bocage country where there's lots of hedgerow, or a more urban area. Didn't implement that for this. I just went with a D6 and the 6 possible terrain features, with the exception of rivers. I haven't figured out how to do that. Some Panzer IVs there, Panthers, along with elite Panzer Grenadier units. So let's get this rolling.